Alrighty, let's go ahead and see if we can start our day off right here, hopefully, but we'll see where this goes. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopian News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company ever. Here we go. So, hopefully you guys are doing all right. And as I continue to wage my campaign over here in Goutopia, trying to knock out all of this stuff, a lot of interesting stuff going on recently. Locale Live has yet another Predator or Predator Defender in their mix. Review Tech USA is crashing out over 8-Bit Eric, which has become his new obsession. And what else? The Nick Ricada case is going on. There's a lot of nonsense going on. There's like the commentator community is about to prolapse on itself. it's a mess out there right now. Anywho, I may save that for the next stream. We can go over and have a good laugh about that. In any case, we're here to go ahead and cut ourselves up some bacon. We're going to be talking about Darksydephil as usual. And, oh, Wings of Redemption's all fucked up and shit. He ain't caught himself in another PKA situation. We'll talk about that later. You know I got a video in the works on that. We're going to talk about DSP speaking on Kino Casino SIMPS. The fuck? The same guys that were giving him money, you want to call them SIMPS for Kino Casino, which they are, but you know what I'm saying? You have no reason to speak on that given how much of a codependency that you had on them. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into my favorite segment. Hopefully your favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. Yet again, who the hell are you to sit, meaning DSP, who the hell is he to sit there and speak negatively on people who give you money? Now, don't be wrong, they're dense. But like, you're going to get mad because you ain't snaked the Kino Casino and they didn't, and some of their supporters didn't stick around and shit to fucking give you money. You weren't providing any content. They were only doing that shit to placate to basically Kino. Kino basically was like, hey, go over there and support Phil, and they did. End of story. It was never about you. And that's the thing that hurts DSP more. It's not about the money. It is about the money. But it's not all about the money, I should say. It's not all about the money. It's about the fact that people don't give a shit about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that whole renaissance, people like him, people like his content, all that bullshit. It wasn't, none of that existed. None of that was true. And no, and not in our current universe, I should say, is that a thing. It wasn't. And that's what hurts him. You know what I'm saying? It hurts the fact that all these people who gave him money, oh, you're great, king, you know, so on and so forth, alt voice, go ahead, king, all that stuff, none of that existed. It wasn't real. It wasn't true. You were an idiot for falling for it. And that's what bothers him. And that's why we get into these stupid ass, this dumbass goal he has, where he wants to make $3,000 on a single stream without any collaborators to prove, I guess, to PPP, or Triple P as I like to call him, that he can stand on his own too. We'll get to that video eventually. But that doesn't mean anything either. It doesn't mean anything that if you can string together enough dents who can string together enough Social Security, SSI, or disability checks to give to you so you make $3 grand. You're doing it for his own ego. And it's actually pretty sad that your ego is completely and utterly tied to money. That's how DSP is wants to try to prove to people that he's actually valued, is if he can make $3,000 on his own. You know how sad that is? If that's the case, Phil, if you really want to prove the Kino Casino that you can make your own money on your own, why isn't the goal 5,000? Why isn't it 7,000? Why isn't it 10,000? Because it's always going to be about the lowest common denominator. You made 3K with them. You need to make 3K to prove that you want to make 3K to prove that you're as good as them or better. If you want to prove that you're as good as them or better, wouldn't you want to strive for more? Did PPP not teach you nothing while you were over there? Anywho, with that being said, and then we'll go ahead and move on. It's interesting that there's a lot of conversation going on currently in the timeline that oh, it looks like Keemstar is gonna get a DSP on the show, this, that, the third. Apparently like a week ago, I guess, from the time that I'm recording this. There was an announcement of they were trying, Kino or Locale Live, I'm sorry, was trying to get DSP onto the show. DSP backed out. Something about employees, yada 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 yada. Here's the reality: if DSP goes on Locale Live, DSP loses. End of story. All that hot shit and everything that he spoke about beforehand, you lose. You lose. Now, don't be wrong. This is the year of content farming, so don't be wrong. We're all gonna talk about it. We're all gonna eat this, that, and the third. It is what it is. But the reality is that DSP is gonna lose. He's gonna lose if he does that, because then you have to literally, because then Keemstar has you, or has him, lock, stock, and trade. The moment DSP steps on Locale Live, you have conceded to the fact that you are Locale, and you're no better than those other two employees. And that's the reason why DSP, in my personal opinion, is trying to label Boogie and Wings as just employees now. And when he goes over there, he's hoping that he can set it up in some way, or Keem will present him in such a way that I'm not like these other two. I'm an equal to you. I'm here because I chose to be here, not because I need to be here. Now, obviously, that's just pignosis. It's a lame-ass form of pig psychology that ain't going to work on nobody, or Gouty psychology. Let's do that. So pignosis, Gouty psychology. And none of that shit's going to work and whatnot. Keem will placate you to whatever situation it is. It is what it is. On top of that, there's talks that when Keem was reacting to whoever he was reacting to at the time over DSP stuff, he was like, oh, if this person was restreaming us, I would go ahead and get his channel taken down, this, that, and the third. And that immediately piqued my interest, because it's like, well, first off, why the fuck are you talking like that? Talking to Keem now. What the fuck are you doing talking about taking channels down, dumbass? Remember, you're trying to bring DSP on in the hopes that you can bring either his audience and or the detractor, troll, hater, and critic audience over there on your bullshit. But now you're talking about, oh, well, DSP should take that channel down. If that was me, I'd have had his ass taken down right, quick, fast, in a fucking hurry. Are you fucking stupid? But here's the thing, because Keem is stupid, so he don't see what I see. What I see is that theory I had about a year ago or so, right around the time that Duty started lying on me and whatnot, on that nonsense, right around that time that fucking Duty got demonetized. Or it was before that, actually. No, it was after Duty got demonetized, and I started to question why that happened. I'm starting to think that's a pattern. So if, for let's say, Raw Phil ends up getting taken down, if Dark Dave Mirror starts getting taken down, if any other restreamer starts getting taken down, or if they get demonetized, if they're even monetized, whatever the case may be, that's a pattern of behavior on Keem's part. Now, how does that even make sense, or why does that even become a thing? Because I think Duty was fucking Keemstar's sacrificial lamb, so to speak, to get DSP to come on board, because Duty was the point of contention at that time. Now it's the restreamer type situation. So now going after whoever would be a thing. So if your favorite detractor gets fucking demonetized for some reason, mainly for restreaming, you can only point at Keem, which now makes me want to think, why would Duty defend Keemstar in the first place when that dude may have gotten him demonetized if he didn't get his ass demonetized? Now I think about it, Agent Proper actually in his top 10 worst moments isolated a segment where he even brings that up. We'll get back to that. That's going to be a whole nother thing, because I wanted to go over that whole Keemstar versus Duty thing anyway. So, but the fact that Keem came out his fucking face and sat there and said that bullshit is just going ahead and putting up a bunch of fucking, flashing lights to me. Definitely a red alert type situation. Now, most of y'all might have missed it because Locale Live is bullshit and it is what it is. But whatever happened to Duty not too long, a year plus ago, what I'm saying? That was a thing. That was real. And it's funny how the moment he gets into a spat with fucking Keemstar, all of a sudden that dude's demonetized. Now you got Keemstar sitting there saying, oh, well, if a restreamer was doing that to me, I would have them demonetized. DSP should do that. Now everybody's saying, oh, well, now, Keem's trying to get DSP on there, and DSP sounds like he's interested. So what detractor now has to get sacrificed for that to happen? Something to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go ahead and move over to our next situation. Just wanted you to ponder that. I wanted you to ponder that. And then later on, we'll have a stream, and then we'll parlay on that further. Because that's real strange. That's real strange that a community that Keem is trying to ingratiate himself with, he's talking about people need to fucking get their channels taken down. I don't know, champ. I don't know. I don't sound very smart to me. That don't sound very smart to me. All right, so let's go ahead and strap in. Thank you for coming to my extended TED Talk. And let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so let's set up our scene. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Raw Phil. Big ups to Raw Phil. This was cut by Diggs. At this current moment when I'm recording, everybody's on vacation, so it's literally just me. So if anything fucks up, well, I'm the captain of my own ship, so it'd be my fault anyway. But if anything messes up, it's definitely my fault. So keep that in mind. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Raw Phil. Darksydephil speaks on Kino Casino SIMPS and how Kino Casino stopped giving him money. This is from March 25th of 2025, our current year of the snake. And that's the thing. Yet again, I want you guys to really sit there and think about what I said, though, about that whole Keemstar nonsense or whatever. I'll go over the video later. Well, later for you, maybe later for me, it might be far later for you, but I just want you to think about that. You know what I'm saying? Let that swim in your noodle for a bit. And we'll address that as we see fit. Okay. Oh, speaking of which, because it is just me, I'm more than likely just gonna be proactive, and I'll just edit these things up myself or whatever, which means if there's gonna be problems, you can just blame it on me. But I may insert some of these things in where other things are already in place. I.e., September's already done. Like all the videos that I have recorded are already uploaded, they're already scheduled to be going out. I may go in and I might change I may rearrange, I should say, the actual lineup. We'll see. If not, then you probably won't see this until like October. So we'll see how we play it. But either way, I don't smell no bacon cooking. And let's go ahead and get to our situation proper. Here we go.
If Eddie came to me for a steak deal, would I consider a slot stream? I don't know, because I don't know what that means. I don't understand how these steak deals work. I don't know about slot streams or anything, so I can't comment on it. I am like completely uneducated, so I'm not going to say a word because I would probably just not know what the hell I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what you do most of the time, so I don't know how that'd be any different from any time else. Anywho, you could, do something like most people do, like do research, or, that one guy who keeps putting you on Kick's front page, maybe you could ask them because they're directly patched in. You know what I'm saying? You can inquire or make an inquiry about this through Kick's customer service. I mean, there's all kinds of ways of doing it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a fucking useless fucking monkey, I guess you're going to have to sit around and wait for someone to spoon feed that shit to you. And then they can just dictate to you whatever it is about whatever it is. That's what happens when you're not proactive. That's what happens when you need everything to be served to you. That's when you need everything to be laid out to you and explained to you in a childlike sort of way, just for you to understand what it is and what it isn't, because you're too dumb or you're too lazy or a combination of both to do your own research to find out what's up. And then he's got the nerve to be like, he's his own man, he's running his own business, when in actuality, if you really look at it, the majority of Darksydephil's life is controlled by other people who he don't even know, who he don't even see. You know what I'm saying? Like Theo, big ups to Theo, said this years and years ago. He said that DSP was so scared at that particular time, and Theo was right, that he's literally letting the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, he didn't say all that, he just said detractors, dictate what his content is and what his content will be, because he's too scared of making a decision on his own and dealing with the consequences. And all that shit ended up becoming true. Imagine that. Big ups to Theo.
I don't think he's going to come to me for a steak deal, considering I don't even get 100 viewers on a stream. And we're seeing a huge drop-off in support on Kick now that basically all the Kino Casino viewers are gone. So I'm not getting much support anymore.
Which is kind of funny, because it's almost like he thought he could fuck over Kino Casino and still reap the benefits of the Kino Casino stimulus package. Let's just call that what it is. You know what I'm saying? Which is even funnier, because I don't know if there's really any interest in seeing DSP go on LolCow Live or even LolCow Live to have a DSP crossover arc. I've made, I'll name this segment later, I'll name this segment later. I've made a couple of those on that actual subject. The thing is, and most of you guys have said this as well, we've kind of already seen this with Kino Casino. You know what I'm saying? So what is DSP really going to add? He was beyond useless when he was with Kino, except for when they had him prancing around like some bitch. So what the hell is, you know, LolCow Live going to do? Are they going to have him prance around and do all that shit? Nah, not really, because DSP didn't look at Andy as just an employee. He was simping for Andy. He was lusting, he was thirsting for Andy. But we'll talk about that DSP and his closeted homosexuality later. And he clearly respected the shit out of PPP, so much so that he basically emulates him to this very day. But look at how he treated Boogie and Wings. Those guys are his peers. No matter how you want to scratch it, you know, how you want to cut it, however you want to do it, those are his peers. And he's sitting there saying, well, y'all bitches, y'all ain't nothing more than fucking whores. You guys are nothing more than employees. You're beneath me. I'm my own man. He's not, but he thinks he's his own man. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is a problem in itself, because now you got two other people besides Keem that's against you. It's Keem's ship. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. And his two his two first mates, literally, you know what I'm saying? They're going to side with Keem no matter what. And even if you're right, they're still going to side with him because you ain't sat there and labeled them as nothing more than employees. So how was LolCow Live, that saga, I should say, going to be any more entertaining than what we saw with Kino Casino? Now, like I said, if it happens, I'm going to watch and comment on it just like anybody else. But still, where's the actual, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the actual entertainment value in that? Something to think about. But here's the point. The stimulants package from that is not going to last any longer. I don't think. I really don't. But then again, with all the degenerates and fucking weirdos and everything else that's coming out of that audience and whatnot, look at where that's at. And if any of you have ever, at least in the early days, if any of you guys have ever seen LolCow Live's Discord, then, you know what I'm saying, that right there in itself speaks it. Now, I'm not saying everybody in there is a fuckwad or a fucking weirdo or a groomer or all that other bullshit, but there's a lot of them in there. There's a lot of them in there, or there certainly was. And now you're starting to see it manifest in some of the hosts that they have and some of these people they're bringing on and all this stuff. It's getting real. That's what Keem is garnering, all the degenerates and shit, all the fucking weirdos. And in a lot of ways, that right there is a reflection of DSP's own audience. So some of DSP's dents are going to fit right in over there. But can DSP afford to lose his dents to Kino Casino or to LolCow Live? Something to think about. But anyway, back to the snake eating part. Sorry, I got derailed. Why did DSP think that some of these people were going to stick around after you snaked PPP and Andy? That didn't make any sense. On top of the fact that you straight up lied to them. Well, he's been lying to them. You know what I mean? So, you know, remember, Phil, your parents are sick and dying, cats dying of cancer, whatever the fuck, yada, 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 pets are dying all over the place, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? Even Kino Casino's audience are going to look at you like you're some type of fucking weirdo. Why would they stick around for that? That doesn't make any sense. That literally don't make any sense. And he acted like they're the problem. Wow, bro.
Via Kick. It kind of sucks. I was getting a lot of support via Kick, and now it looks like it's going to go away, which stinks.
Which eventually, that his little partnership program over there on Kino Casino, on Kick, that's going to fade away too. Sooner than later, he's going to fall so low that he's either going to lose his little hourly paycheck thing, or he's going to deactivate his account before he loses it, and then he'll just go back to Twitch. And realistically, he should just go back to Twitch. Just save yourself the trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, even now, in our current timeline, he's not even hit, he's missed a bunch of goals as of late. 3 or 4 streams that didn't hit goals. Shit's not working. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to have to go back to Twitch. He's going to have to. And despite all the fuckwad shit that's going on Twitch, it's better than where he at now. It's better than where he's at now. Because as long as he stays on Kick, he'll always be linked to Kino Casino. And he'll never be able to get rid of that. And him jumping over to LolCow Live doesn't really strengthen his position on YouTube. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to play chess, not checkers. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you really look at strategically where DSP's at, it's not helping him. He's better off dual streaming on YouTube and Twitch and just deactivate the account, but he can at least keep wherever he's at in the partnership situation that way. and go ahead and get up out of there and take a break for a while or something. Something. Because right now, Kino Casino every day kills Darksydephil in Minecraft on Kick. He needs to make a move.
But there's not much I can do about that, right? Fluffy Kitties, $2 super chat saying, I remind him of Wario. Well, there you go. I'm glad to hear that. Wario is, as we know, a huge gaming, caricature. And it's an honor to be said that I remind you of Wario. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
Have I ever
Last time I checked, though, Wario has money, though. I mean, he stole the majority of it, but he got money, though. You don't have that. So, anyway, whatever. It's being petty.
gambled in Vegas? Yes, but very minimally. Basically just some slots. That's it.
Yeah, because I could see him easily getting fucked over at the crap table and blackjack. Definitely playing any type of poker. Yeah, he going to get fleeced easy. Easy. So, yeah, it's probably smart that he just stick to slots. Because he don't know how to read it. Because it's one, he doesn't understand how to read cards. Now, reading cards and counting cards are two separate things. He doesn't know how to read cards. He doesn't know how to read any of his opponents and whatnot. And the dealer is just going to have a field day with his ass. You know what I'm saying? A good dealer is going to have a field day off of him. Because you can literally use DSP's incompetence to play off everybody else and whatnot. So, yeah, he's not built for cards. That's pretty obvious. And in a lot of ways, honestly, if you look at how DSP plays Street Fighter, it's the same type of concept. Like, DSP would be able to beat, like, you know what I'm saying, like novice type players or players who aren't paying too much attention or who play overly conservative. But if you got guys out there who know what they're doing, they know how to play fast and loose, they're good at bluffing, you know, standard shit, DSP's going to get creamed up. He's going to get creamed up. Or like an asshole like me, I would sit there and let him, like, I'd purposely drop some hands to him just to build his confidence up until I can, let's say we're playing poker, until I can get his ass to go all in and whatnot, and then just bluff the shit out of him and take him and kick him out altogether. You know what I'm saying? And then if I'm really feeling like an asshole, I'll just do what the dealer's going to do, and I'll just play him off of the other players and shit until I can get him into a situation to where I can pull at least another player into the deep end. Hopefully get them to go ahead and fold and whatnot, get DSP to go all in, and then cream that easy, and then take the whole pot. So stuff like that.
Why do I think support on Kick is dropping? Because most of the people who are watching me on Kick were Kino Casino viewers. And since essentially they decided to snake me, right? Well, then the viewers are going to go with them. You know, there's very few people who are watching Kino Casino that have stick around. Most of them have now left, and those who are supporting have stopped. And I think that's sad because the other day someone said to me, Phil, will you hold it against us if we still watch Kino Casino and support them, but we also want to come and watch you? And I said, no. So outside of this stream, I really don't care what you guys do. I really don't. If you're going to go watch Detractors, if you're going to go watch someone else, I don't give a crap. Just don't bring it into my content. As long as you don't bring it to my streams, the toxicity or whatever, we're good. All right? So just leave it at that. And I think what's happening.
But that's literally not true, though, because if someone brings up a Detractor meme or asks him a question as it pertains to Detractors, he's more than likely to answer it, especially if there's money behind that. So, I feel like we're contradicting ourselves here a bit.
Happened is, so those are like, okay, well, that's cool. The Phil's not going to hold this against us. So a lot of people have continued to support the casino, and then they come here and still watch. But I think those people, quite frankly, are afraid to support my content. I'm being honest. I think that they think that if they support me and the casino, that this is going to cause some kind of drama. And so therefore, you know, they're going to choose the casino because the casino is bigger than me. And
I don't think that's actually the case. I think really what it comes down to is that the casino is entertaining. DSP's not. You know what I'm saying? DSP's not willing to take a risk on anything. He doesn't talk about very rarely does he talk about anything controversial. He's just someone that wants to beg and then play games poorly so he can keep fighting off this is how you don't play. And that's it. You don't provide anything. That's the reality. He doesn't provide anything. And most of them are not going to fall for the pignosis. They see through the bullshit because Kino Casino on a fairly regular basis calls out DSP on his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that comes down to. And that, and yet again, it's just another example of DSP's codependency on Kino Casino. You know what I'm saying? So he really boxed himself in. And here's the thing. Sorry, I keep going back to fucking lolcow live, but but if you really just hear me out, it's that kind of codependency is what Keemstar is looking for. Is what Keemstar is banking on. You know what I'm saying? And another thing too, don't fall into this whole thing about, oh, you know, Kino Casino versus lolcow live. That's none of that exists. None of that exists. Keemstar has had a relationship with Andy Worski going back to the sector, going back to the Internet Blood Sports days, and as well as Happy Punch, as well as the other couple things that they collaborate on or they do behind the scenes. There is no beef there. They'll say whatever they have to say publicly to push the narrative, but behind the scenes, them guys are fine, to be honest. The reason why lolcow doesn't actually go after Kino Casino is because Boogie and Wings are stupid as fuck, and they can't do anything. Like, PPP himself could run circles around those two idiots, let alone Keem. So that's what that situation is. And Keemstar's smart enough to know that. So there is no internal war. If it was, it would have been fake anyway. It's all just to paint the narrative or to paint DSP into a false sense. That's all it really comes down to. So if DSP really thinks he's going to go to Kino Casino and, go to lolcow live with, oh, this is what Kino Casino has said about you guys, yada, 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 yada. PPP and Andy and plant the seeds for that a long ass time ago, and they more than likely were talking to Keemstar about it from Jump Street. This is all, I feel like this whole thing is just one long ass con, right? That may or may not come to fruition. As long as, you know, no fucking buddy gets out of pocket with it or gets super stupid about it, it should play along. But this has been in the works for a minute. This isn't something that just happened. DSP is not going to really gain any ground or whatever. This shit's already been in the works. Trust me. Trust me, this shit's already been in the works. DSP is being fleeced yet again, and he don't see it because he's stupid and he's desperate.
Nothing I can do about that. All right? There's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is continue to grind away, make good content, and try to build my channel, you know, further. Get genuine viewers who are here to watch me rather than, oh, I only checked it out as a favor to the casino. You know?
And you're never going to get that. So, that's the problem. You're never going to get that. At all. People are just going to be there to ridicule you, to mock you, and whatnot, or to drum up drama so Kino Casino and as well as the detractors can, you know what I'm saying, get their clips off later in the story. What's up today, Phil? Who's going to pay for this?
Could you stop with the nonsense, Glitter Bomb? You're being stupid. Just stop spamming that. Yes, Jade, we will do some Nuketown today. We'll do some Nuketown today for sure. We always do. We always do some Nuketown when we play Call of Duty.
Wow. Riveting. And this is why people go through filters. He literally don't have shit to say. He literally has to, he's codependent on the people around him to do anything. Actually, Wings is like that. I don't even need to pause it because he's not going to say anything anyway.
Yeah, see, that's...
Shut your ass up. Anyway, but Wings is like that too. Wings can't start anything on his own. He's completely and utterly codependent on the people around him. Completely. And Keem, yet again, knows that. You know what I'm saying? And Boogie, I mean, Boogie's a fence sitter. Boogie will get on his hands and knees for anybody, for the most part, who can make him money. So it's easy to get, you know, Boogie to do anything he wants, so on and so forth. That's the reason why Keem collects the people that he collects. You know what I'm saying? And Review Tech USA was no different. You know what I'm saying? Look at how quick he took the knee, and then look at how quickly they kicked his ass out. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't ever see Keem go after bigger content creators who actually made it on their own. Because they know Keem and they know what he does. You know what I'm saying? Look at how the Jaffe situation went. Not to give Jaffe any credit on anything, but look at how that shit blew up. Like you said, DSP and Keem have a lot in common, and the fact that they prey upon the weak.
The truth. I don't care if people stay in the middle. If there's people who are like, I don't care either way, I like both. I like the casino, I like Phil. I'm okay with that. I don't give a crap. I'm not one of these people that's like, you must select sides and it has to be black or white.
That's literally a lie, because he's done that shit. Because he's done that shit for years. For years, he's done that shit. At the end of the day, DSP wants a dent to only be dependent on him. Only wants them to be reliant on him. He wants them to only contribute towards him. It's the reason why other content creators don't talk to him. It's the reason why other content creators don't deal with him. Especially after what happened with Kino Casino. Because DSP's trying to go, well, after side scrollers, to be honest. DSP's main objective is, one, to get over his narrative with them. Go ahead and pull his sob story, and then poach. Poach and poach and poach. You know what I'm saying? He has nothing, he doesn't bring anything to the table except for a lame ass sob story and what he can pull out of it. And that's not how a collaboration or anything should work. It should be, any deal should be mutually beneficial for both parties. If not, then it's not worth doing at the end of the day. Now, don't get me wrong, someone's going to always benefit a little more than the other. That's just the nature of the beast. But going in and the deal being struck on the intention that, hey, this is a 50-50 thing across the board, is how that should work. You know what I mean? So, and the reality is, as it pertains to the locale situation, DSP needs to poach more dents, and he needs to raise his profile. Keemstar needs a way to sucker DSP in and maybe even try to entrap him in. End of story. On top of that, and this is most important, we're willing to go over there, allegedly. DSP is willing to go over there and maybe parlay with lolcow live. But he was willing to turn down $50,000. Let's remix that. So DSP wants to go over there, is willing to go over there to lolcow, maybe, for free, when he was offered $50,000 and say, no, my morals and my values. What sense does that make? Like, literally, what sense does that make? And that's the thing that assholes like myself will be able to hold over DSP's head from here on out if he steps over there on lolcow live. If he steps over there once, I'm going to be like, wow, aren't you a stupid hoe? You went over there for free when you could have collected 50 grand. All right, that makes sense.
This one or that one. If you like Bolt, go for it. Watch Bolt. Support Bolt. I'm happy for that. I really am. But sadly, what's happened is these people, are simps. A lot of these.
So wait, you just said that, hey, if they choose to go ahead and basically fence it, not really fence it, let's try to give it the respect it deserves. If people are willing to enjoy both sides of the spectrum, if you will, both sides of the spectrum, that's cool. That we lead with that. But then he's going to say, oh, well, the people who just want to pick up and leave me, you guys are simps. So you want to put a label on the very people that you're hoping that will stay, or you're hoping that will come back. What? Like, how does one person just keep shooting themselves over and over and over again? I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. His penchant for attacking the audience of his opposition makes no damn sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Just because some of those people in that audience don't fuck with you doesn't mean that all of them do. But when you sit there and you start labeling them like this, and then he wonders why he fails at everything. He wonders why no one wants to collab with him. He wonders why it's the same 3 or 4 dents that keep fucking supporting him and nobody else. Amazing, man. I gotta tell you. Amazing. If he had even a lick of self-awareness when it comes to this damage control or PR situations he's in, just imagine what he may be able to accomplish. The answer is nothing, by the way. But it's funny to dream.
People are simps. They want to simp for the big boys. They want to simp for the big dogs, you know? And here's the other thing that I should say, because it's kind of funny, all right?
Is it?
So, I'm going to say this and just get it out of the way. And I'm going to move on my merry way because I don't want to hang on this all day. All right? But here we go. You ready? Did you notice something about the difference between the work ethic of myself and Kino Casino? Did you ever notice the big difference?
No one cares.
That I'm here 6 days a week streaming full time, busting my ass, putting out content constantly for an audience, and they stream 3 times a week, not even a full day, and then they take tons of time off.
Because they don't have to. It's not the flex you think it is. The fact that they can stream 3 times a week, they put out entertaining content, and they can get all of those contributions and everything, speaks to the value of the content that they put out. If you have to sit here and basically, if this is how Phil's trying to frame it, if you have to sit there and slave away at a situation like this, bitch, go ahead and get yourself a shower, get fucking Kat to iron your clothes if she can even do that shit, and go ahead and put on a suit and apply for a fucking job. You know how fucking retarded you sound? Oh, I have to turn streaming into a full-time job 6 days a week, what, 50 hours or whatever the fuck? That means you failed. That doesn't say anything about Kino Casino. That means they're doing it right. That means they're doing it right. They can stream when they want, about the subjects they want, for the amount of time that they feel like streaming, and then they can enjoy the fruits of their labor. DSP would rather go ahead and spend thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a month on WWE champions, can't give his wife that proper honeymoon, can't take her on vacation to Japan or Italy or wherever the fuck, and has to sit here and beg day in, day out. It's not the flex you think it is. It's really not. That's absolutely fucking embarrassing that you would even bring that up. That's a goddamn shame. The work ethic. What's that mean if the content's still trash? What does that really mean? If the content is still garbage.
And then they're constantly on vacation, and then they cancel shows, and then they're late. Do you ever notice that? Do you want to know why that is? Because you guys simp for them. That's why. Because you...
But yet when DSP gets sick, or when DSP's too fucking drunk, or whatever situation, or you know, DSP got his feelings hurt, and whatever, he can't stream the next day, or whatever the fuck, he come back and he want to have a big pity party, and then he's hoping that a bunch of donations that come in. And when those donations, wink wink, when they do come in, those people aren't simps. Just saying, those people aren't simps. Those people aren't suckers. Are those people holding you accountable? Just asking. Do you have do you have sick days, Phil? Do you have mental days, or what do they call that? Mental self days. I can't remember. I just cash those days out and shit when I get those things. But whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you have any of those type of days whatsoever? I think they're called mental health days. Whatever. But like, do you have any of those things, Phil? No, you don't. So you're completely and utterly dependent on these idiots simping for you day in, day out. That's why you got to keep making excuses about, man, I'm by myself. I can't get sponsorships. I can't get endorsements. I have all these people stealing my content. I need you guys to support. That sounds to me like simp bait. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like e-thought simp bait. But don't worry. We'll let him explain himself. Maybe he can clarify for us.
Simp for the casino, you enable them to have that kind of shitty work ethic. You understand?
That's crazy.
If you didn't simp for them every stream and throw them thousands of dollars for simply turning the stream on, they would have to work. And they would have to work more. And they would have to work harder. And they would have to have better events rather than just the same old shtick. They would actually have to innovate instead of just doing the same thing every time they turn on their fucking streams. Do you get it? They'd have to work more than 3 times a week.
That affliction, or that influx at the end of his shit is annoying as hell when he says that shit. Like the way he talks like that. Great, that might make a good thumbnail though. That right there, anyway. But here, yeah, like I want you to listen to the infliction at the end of when he makes these statements. That's just annoying to me.
The work ethic. You understand? If you didn't simp for them every stream and throw them thousands of dollars for simply turning the stream on,
the same thousands of dollars that he benefited on, or that he benefited from, in all of his collaborations and situations over there. Keep that in mind.
They would have to work. And they would have to work more. And they would have to work harder. And they would have to have better events rather than just the same old shtick. They would actually have to innovate instead of just doing the same thing every time they turn on their fucking streams.
And what has DSP done to innovate? Just out of curiosity. What lame-ass events that he's doing that's so special or so different from the one that happened previously? Insert game here, same DSP tries it here, same goal here. Yeah, there's a whole lot of change. What, we're just going to change the RGB or the RGB lights in the background and shit to match whatever game we're playing? Is that the innovation? Like, someone explain something to me.
Do you get it? They'd have to work more than 3 times a week. Wow, what a novel concept. You'd get more content if you didn't simp out as much. They
fucking stream for like, what, 5-6 hours? You getting that, like, you know what I'm saying? You getting that 3 times a week. That's like over 15 hours of fucking content. Let alone the edited shit that ends up coming out later. I think that's enough to hold most people off, to be honest. And that's just not, and that's not even including the stuff that Andy does after the fact. All right, whatever. So they should exhaust themselves, oversaturate their own market, and drive people away because of either exhaustion or just fatigue, or content fatigue, I should say. Yeah, that makes sense.
Bust my ass because I'm the blue collar dude who never had giant popularity. I always was the underdog on YouTube. I always did things differently. I didn't get the sponsorships. I didn't get the ball suckers. I didn't get any of that. So I've always had to break my back to make a living.
So if you did have all of that stuff accessible to you, would you still, in air quotes, work as hard as you allegedly work now? Or would you have just coasted like they do? And see, that's the real question. See, DSP is quick to tell you about whatever advantages that he don't have compared to other people. But then that makes you think, oh, well, if you had those advantages, would you take advantage of it? Or would you continue doing it your own way, if you will? And do you really think DSP would answer you honestly under those circumstances? Something to think about.
Now, here I am 17 years later, and I still break my back to make a living, but I'm happy and I get to make content that I like. And I don't have anyone simping for me, quite frankly. Or I don't. I get people who are regulars who come by, but there's no one here who's like, oh, Phil turned on the stream. Here's $1,000 just because. If you guys would.
But people don't pay you hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, to play games? Or play the games that they want to see? What is that? That's someone who's directing you the content and the streams, right? And you're accepting that because they're paying you. Is that not simping? Or is that not buying you? Interesting.
Stop fucking simping, they would actually have to work hard. They don't right now because you keep giving them everything for nothing.
And here's the thing. If you really don't care about the advantages that they have, then why are you bitching about this? To be honest. And then the fact that he's so up his own ass. He really thinks he can convince people. He really thinks he can turn people who are Kino Casino supporters against the casino with this logic. But everybody knows how bad your content is. Kino Casino demonstrates that almost every night they stream. So they know what you provide. So why would they support you if they already know what they're getting is going to be garbage off rip? It's really sad. Because if what another, I should say, another fallout, if you will, of that whole Kino Casino arc, it really shows how empty and useless DSP's content is. And everybody understands that. Everybody knows it. Everybody was in on the joke of, yeah, King, do what you got to do, King. And DSP wasn't. He really believed it. He really believed these people care. He really believed these people valued him. He really thought he belonged. And he never did. It was like a giant pig, no pun intended. It was like a giant pig party. And he was the only one who didn't get it. Didn't DSP go to college? He should know that. Well, he went to a private school. No, he went to college. I'm pretty sure, yeah, he went to college. Because those alleged dorm room stories, which half of that's probably bullshit anyway. Anyway, but you've gone to college, Phil. I'm sure you've heard of a pig party. So you understand how that works. And yet again, this is just another example of it, and he never figured it out. That's a goddamn shame, bro. That's hurtful.
So if you're like, man, I hate it when the casino goes on a vacation after vacation after vacation after vacation, you're the one who's giving them the vacation. Don't you get that? It's your reason that they're doing that. If you didn't give them so much for so little, then they would have to work.
And here's the interesting part. Now that I think about it, let me show you how grimy this motherfucker is. So while DSP was over there, he was hearing these people's gripes and complaints and this, that, and the third about Kino Casino, right? Oh, we wish you streamed more. We wish you did more of this, more of that. He sat back and took mental notes of all of that bullshit, but didn't say anything while he was over there. Then when he after he snakes them, and now he's losing all the benefits of that collaboration or whatever the case may be. Now he wants to throw that back up in their face, thinking it's an own. Absolute fucking scumbag. But if you did that to him, though, you're being dishonest, or you don't understand the circumstances of the situation, right? There's more context that needs to be added to it. Yikes! Yikes!
It's called cause and effect. It's pretty simple. but people don't seem to understand. I've been saying this about the games industry all along too. If you don't reward lazy game devs for lazy work by simping and buying all their games, then they'll do better.
But that's not true, because you literally bought those same games from those same alleged lazy game developers and publishers. So you're part of the problem. You're literally part of the problem. So it's funny how he was okay with telling other people not to do something. Don't play this, don't buy this, that, and the third. But he did it so he could get your views. And then goes ahead and tries to say, oh, well, this is my job. People want to see me, play the hot new games, this, that, and the third. But you put out the edict, though, that you shouldn't give your money to these people because these people are fucking over Kojima, or these people have bad ethics or bad morals and all this bullshit. And what's the first thing he runs back to? It's my job, dude. It's my job, dude. I have to, dude. People want to see it, dude. You're no better than. You're literally no better than the very people that you're trying to go against. The fact that he never sees that is fucking crazy to me.
How many people complain about how every Pokemon sucks, but then they buy every Pokemon anyway, and then they buy the merch, and then they buy the amiibo, and then they buy this? Well, they're never going to improve unless you force them to. If you keep simping for the casino, guess what?
That and voting with your wallet don't even really work like that. It really don't. Like, the Call of Duty community is kind of now starting to get that shit and whatnot, but it's a bit more complicated than just not buying the game. It means like not supporting the fucking microtransactions part of it, for going back and playing the old games and forcing the developers to actually fix that or make them playable. That's how you will slowly but surely make a company actually fall to their knees. It's not the concept of don't buy the game and they'll change. That's not at all. And I mean, it varies from game to game too. But I would say with Call of Duty, for example, given the trash fire this shit started turning to, like Black Ops 7 looks like it's about DOA on arrival, which is ironic because Black Ops 6 kind of looked that way too, and it's kind of proven such. On top of the fact that the COD cycle's becoming shorter and shorter each and every year, it's really stopped supporting the microtransactions, if you will. And if you are playing the old games, force the devs to fix the old games, some of the problems, the security issues, and whatever. And then that's a way of forcing them to listen to you. You not buying the game don't mean anything. Especially if, and I'm sorry, I'll try to keep this brief. Now that Call of Duty's on Game Pass, then they really have nothing to worry about, to be honest with you. They really have nothing to worry about. On top of the fact of Warzone, when they made Warzone free, they had nothing to worry about. So there's that, because there's always going to be someone that's going to buy a blueprint, that's going to buy microtransactions, so on and so forth. That's the way they did it. That's the reason why most games make battle royales free. Because if you don't have to pay the money for that, then you can pay it in microtransactions. Or you can spend it on, I should say. Microtransactions and other shit. So anyway, it varies though. But my point is that DSP is part of the problem. So you're not going to change anything. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work that way. That's like me fucking harping about dense being dense and throwing their money away into a black hole. At the end of the day, you're going to protect whatever it is that you're protecting because you like it. You don't like the people who are criticizing you or it for existing or for doing what you guys are doing. Or you're just going to keep moving because it's your money and you're going to do what the fuck you want to do with it. End of story. When DSP gets deplatformed, you'll see how shit, not that I'm advocating for this, but if he gets deplatformed, you'll see where the real change has to come into play. You know what I'm saying? Or a shift, if you will. And if you want an example of that, look no further than when he left Twitch the last time. You know what I'm saying? Look at what happened when he left Curse, or when he didn't leave, he got kicked out. Look at when he got kicked out of Curse. Every time he gets kicked from somewhere, he loses more and more support, and he's forced to transition, or he's forced to adapt. He never adapts. Let's use another word. He concedes more and more of whatever authority he thought he had to the peasants and whatnot to keep the money flowing, if you will. But the money's getting smaller and smaller, at least at times, and the supporters are more and more drying up. You know what I'm saying? I would say it's like the Gouty Magna Carta, if you think about it in some ways. But that's neither here nor there.
Never going to improve. They'll always have the same content, only 3 days a week, delaying streams, canceling streams.
And then DSP has always had a problem with streamers, quote unquote, working less than him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which makes no sense. If you were making really good money doing what you're doing, and you only have to put out 2 edited videos a week, if you will, compared to someone who has to put out 5, why would you stop that? Now during the holidays, you may up your output, but that makes sense. But for the rest of the year, if you could coast like that, why would you break that? Unless something out of the ordinary happens where something really catches your eye, so you just have to throw a third video in or something, or a third project. What sense does that make? Like, no one cares about your work ethic. No one gives a fuck about any of that. Is the content entertaining or not? That's the bottom line. You don't get brownie points, Phil. YouTube does not evaluate you quarterly on your fucking work performance and shit, bitch. Is the content good or not?
Bad work ethic, vacation after vacation, it will continue. It's direct cause and effect. I don't know why people don't understand that. You know, I just don't get it. But every time,
because people aren't subjective to it. I mean, in some ways, DSP isn't. Why do you think he does what he does? If he was really being held to task, as some people feel that he should, do you think he would keep doing the things that he's doing, or the way he's doing it?
that I would see people would come on my streams and be complaining about the casino. They'd be like, why is the casino not streaming, Phil? I don't know. Maybe because last time they turned on their stream, you threw them thousands of dollars before they even said a word.
So you're going to victim blame. Hey, Phil, why aren't these people who I like doing what I want them to do? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's your fault. Yeah, Phil, that's a smart idea. That's really, that's a real smart idea, Phil. That's a real way, good way to try to garner support.
Did you ever think about that? Like, now they don't have to work. Why are you a simp? I don't get it.
Wow. Boy, Death by Daylight's going to hell in a handbasket. Shut your ass up. Death by Daylight's going to hell in a handbasket right now. That's an unfortunate situation. Anyway, so yeah, like that's really weird that everybody else needs to be judged accordingly, and yet DSP damn near does the exact same thing, or he has aspects of what he does is similar, but he can't be judged on that, or he can't be held to task, or taken to task. I'm sorry.
It's just the point. So, you know, I don't understand. It's like people just don't have common sense. They don't. They just don't have any common sense at all. And then they complain. And why are you complaining? You're the one that created the situation. It happens in the gaming world. It happens in the content creation world, right? Take a look at the direct difference, okay?
Oh,
you have supported me in droves way more in the last 8 months. We're hitting goals, right? We're doing constant special events, the return of DSP Tries It, the return of regular marathons that you get to choose what we're doing during them. We're doing special streams like Lego build nights. I'm constantly improving my setup. I'm buying things for the setup. I'm improving everything. Since you started supporting me more, all of the quality has massively improved.
No, but it hasn't, though. Yes, you could go ahead and do all these things to make yourself feel better about your workplace or your work area or whatever the fuck and your surroundings. But the content itself hasn't gotten better. You could make the argument that, oh, well, there's more variety. Okay, fair enough. His Lego streams are still trash. What takes him weeks to do when it comes to Legos, for example, you have people who can do it in an hour or two. What sense does that make? That's not good. That's not quality content. It shouldn't take somebody fucking weeks on end to put together a Lego set that's made for fucking kids. That makes no sense. That legitimately makes no sense. Because one, he's either sandbagging, which he more than likely is, or two, he's a real fucking idiot and he can't figure out Legos. That's not quality content. That's not even content. That's legitimately the definition of nonsense. That's literally the definition of nonsense. And I'm not even talking about Strangely Lex. Fucking even Review Tech's dumbass was able to get that shit done in a single stream. Poorly, but you know what I'm saying? He still got it done. Yikes, son.
Like up, correct? What has happened since you guys started supporting the casino more? They work less and they take more time off. Maybe you should think about that a little bit. But the point is, it ain't going to change because people simp because they're stupid. People don't simp for Darksydephil. They come to Darksydephil streams, they enjoy the content, and they say, oh, I really like this. I'm so happy that Phil sticks to his guns, hasn't changed, doesn't let others influence him. I'll support that.
That sounds like simping if you ask me, but all right.
And so I really am kind of the blue-collar streamer. I do make a good living, but I have to bust my ass to get that living. You see, I don't have anyone who's kissing my butt, sending me ridiculous amounts of money for no reason. I have to actually earn.
Didn't people say that they were glad you stuck to your guns and that you're here every day? That, all right, whatever.
That's the difference here, okay?
And keep in mind, he's trying to convince people who are fans of drama content, something that he said he never wanted to be involved in. He wanted to make meaningful content. He's trying to convince people who support drama content to come over to non-tent and support that. Make that make sense. Knowing damn well that the man has no, well, he's not a man, I use that term loosely, but coming to this idiot, knowing damn well he don't have any morals because he should have never done content with the Kino Casino in the first place, which is what caused some of his own viewership to drop off. So he lost viewership collaborating with Kino Casino, right? His base, I should say. And then now that Kino Casino's done with him, or vice versa, or whatever, now he don't even have them. So he has less than what he had before he even started his collaboration. Make that make sense.
I'm being told it's white collar versus blue collar. Well, whatever the fuck the term is, I don't give a shit. It's called having to work to earn your keep and being okay with busting your ass in order to earn stuff.
To earn stuff? What? To earn stuff? What do you mean earn stuff? Here.
I'm being told it's white collar versus blue collar. Well, whatever the fuck the term is, I don't give a shit. It's called having to work to earn your keep and being okay with busting your ass in order to earn stuff. Get it? Versus getting handed everything and
so to earn stuff. So he's basically saying, I bust my ass on my streams so I can buy the stuff that I want. So not necessarily to make a living, not to put money in retirement, not to be able to travel and enjoy the fruits of my labor, so I can buy more stuff. So you can give me more money so I can continue to buy more stuff. That sounds like an addict. That sounds like someone who has an addiction. It sounds like someone who has a problem. The fact that he didn't pick up on that is not surprising, really. But I think that's incredibly telling. Not to have a good life, to bust my ass to buy stuff. Here, let me bring it back one more time. To buy stuff. What? People don't get up to go to work every day so they can buy stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, like you're gonna buy things, obviously, but not like in the way he's saying it.
I'm being told it's white collar versus blue collar. Well, whatever the fuck the term is, I don't give a shit. It's called having to work to earn your keep and being okay with busting your ass in order to earn stuff. Get it? Versus stuff. Getting handed everything and then instead of rewarding, actually taking away.
What? So you want them to do more content so they can make even more money, so they can take longer vacations? Like, I don't understand where his logic is. I don't understand where his logic is in this. What? All right, fair enough. Holy shit. Oh, man. Holy shit. This is from March. What the fuck? The madness. The absolute fucking madness.
Review Dropbox USA did a $2 tip saying it's a cope. There's no cope.
It is a cope. It's a massive fucking cope. This shit is a massive fucking cope.
You're the one coping. Because when faced with reality, people who are simps can't handle it and immediately have to try to oh no, that's not the case. I'm not a simp. That's not what's happening. No, this is it. No, that's what's happening. That's literally what's happening. You're simps. You allow them to have that lifestyle because you're simps. And look who you're simping for. Holy shit. You're not simping for Pokemon. You're not simping for Amaranth. Look who you're simping for.
But that doesn't make any sense because you would just criticize them for simping for them too. So what point are you trying to make? Why would you even bring them up? Because he can't bring up anybody else because he don't respect anybody else. Not unless he's forced to. Or he has to fake it, like his wife.
Holy shit. Thanks for the $2.
And he really thinks there's degrees of separation between what their audience does and what his audience does. That's this really, really delusional part about it. Boy, when this guy finally has the mental break that we all know that's coming, holy shit, bro. I can't wait for that one. Fuck a crash out. When he finally loses it, that blow up is going to be monumental. That shit is going to be crazy when that shit finally happens. Holy shit.
Super chat. Okay.
Because a person can only lie to themselves for so long. They can only lie to themselves for so long. Holy shit. Sometime today, Phil, after you have your little cope sip. And by the way, that's all that is. Every time you see DSP, go ahead and take a, you know what I'm saying, take a sip. Fucking sleazy asshole. Big ups to him. After he feels like he makes a point, it's just a cope sip. That's all it is. Straight up cope sip. It's the only way to make himself feel better. It's really sad. It's really sad.
No, I never simped for the casino. What
the fuck you didn't? You simped the fuck for them. Hell yeah, you did. Up there in the middle of the night and whatnot, while the wife is asleep and shit on their stream for 3 or 4 fucking hours like a fucking loser. The fuck's wrong with you?
the fuck are you talking about? God, you're stupid.
It's a nice little fake laugh you got there, Phil. Amazing.
Maddie Vincent, I know, and that's why I told you guys I'm done with this shit. That's why. I mean, again, I was in a situation where people were constantly trying to change who I was.
Oh boy.
Were trying to pull me into content I didn't want to be a part of.
Except for when you guys purposely went ahead and gangbanged Review Tech USA. And we were taking casino chips away and shit like that. They forced you to do that too, Phil? Was that what that was? They forced you to interact with fucking, with Ethan Ralph? Is that what that was, Phil? All right.
And then we're telling me, oh, if you don't do
They forced you to go at COG? Is that a thing too, Phil?
it, well, we're going to force you to do it anyway. That's why I'm gone. That's why I'm not a part of that anymore.
But that's not even true. The real reason why he left Kino Casino, we know that now. I've already done this video, is basically they weren't making him money anymore. So he basically deemed them as useless and he bailed, essentially. And he tried to fuck them on the way out. And did it poorly.
I saw the writing on the wall. I saw how toxic it was getting. And I just had enough. And I had to get myself out of that situation. And that's why I had set it out that way, that I had ways out. I wasn't trapped. Okay. And that's a good thing that I did that. But I always knew that if I got out, it was going to be a situation where, sadly, there was going to be repercussions and fallout and drama and not.
So wait, you knew that you were going to fuck them on the way out the door. You planned for it, but you still say, oh, it sucks though that I had to deal with repercussions? Huh? I did bad things. I planned, according to him, he planned to do bad things. He executed the bad things. It still sucks, I should say, I'm sorry. It still sucks that he had to deal with the fallout and the consequences after the fact. If that's not mental illness, I don't know what is.
And I always knew that was going to happen. It's unavoidable. If you involve yourself with drama and people who are involved in drama, you're going to always have that element of drama. All right. There's no real way to get out of it.
But you were in the drama before you even teamed up with them. So what's the point?
So sadly, you know, it is what it is. But I'm happy that now I'm not doing that content anymore. I have no desire to do that content anymore. I'm back to myself. If you haven't noticed, a lot more gaming, not this nonsense constantly, right?
Not really. There's actually less gaming going on, to be honest. Or whatever. There's other people who are already doing the work on that. You can go to Detractor Twitter. There's someone who breaks down his streams literally. You know how much begging, how much of this, how much of that. They've already got it locked down to a science. So you can definitely check them out. What the fuck? There's more gaming. No, there isn't. There's actually less. There's even less gaming going on since his collaboration with Kino Casino. What the fuck is he talking about?
So yeah, hope that you're seeing the changes, that we're going back to how it was and things are getting better. What we really,
but going back to how it was, but weren't you in a bad spot in the at that point? Hence the reason why you decided to collaborate with the Kino Casino in the first place. What are you talking about? The content was shit. That's the reason why you teamed up with Kino Casino. Now that you fucked them over, and now you have an even worse reputation than you did before you got in the bed with them. Now things are so much worse for you, obviously. And now you're saying, oh, well, I hope you guys realize that things are going back to the way it was. So we're going from one trash heap to another trash heap, with even more garbage being dumped on you by the day. Fucking head case. Fucking head case.
need right now is good games. And the problem is we're not really getting them. We're getting shitty games like Assassin's Creed Shadows that just aren't worth our time. We need better games.
No, we don't. If you were the entertainer that you said you were, then you shouldn't need to depend on games. You should be able to play anything and do well. You got people who exclusively just play retro games, and they pull in far more attendance, right? They pull in far more donations, but more importantly than all that, they put out far more entertaining content. So what's the excuse there?
And then we can...
And they don't have to drag a game out for a month or two. How useless are you if you literally need the newest, hottest game to have all this hype around it to play it and for you to be successful? So how the fuck is he going to sit there and say shit about detractors, trolls, haters, and critics when he's doing the same thing? He says that we steal his hard work and all that, whatever bullshit. We steal his hard work and all of that nonsense to benefit. But he literally does the same thing. He legitimately does the exact same thing. And then when he fails, he blames the game. But if a detractor, not that I know too many detractors who have sub goals, or any goals in particular, but let's say they did, are they gonna blame him because he didn't the dancing monkey didn't perform right on that particular evening stream? No. So what? I don't want to make it a lesser of two evils type thing, but
really get back on track, right? Oh, excuse me. Oh my God, Mozzie.
And he gonna talk all that shit about drama content, and literally everything he has around him that you see, it was based off of drama content. That's the really crazy part. So he thinks he can dip into content whenever he's desperate and he needs to and get the big payoff, get the stimulus package. But then he can go back to the same boring ass content, which led him to need to delve into the drama content in the first place so he could bail himself out. That's literally what he's trying to say now. It's a stimulus package that he only is willing to deal with when he really, 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 really needs it. It's a break the glass type situation. But other than that, he wants to go back to the same stale, boring, useless content that he was already putting out that put him in the problems in the first place that resulted in him having to go to do drama content. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Holy shit, bro.
$1 super chat. Thanks,
insane.
but no. I told you, I'm done with drama. I don't want anything to do with this shit. I don't want to be involved in it. I'm not going to invite it. No, we're done with all of that. It's really over.
And then after he fucked over Kino Casino, is this the same guy who begged? And I don't want to give this guy any fucking credit, but fuck him. Is this the same guy who begged fucking Review Tech USA to come and do a stream with him, the 666 podcast or whatever the fuck, so they could dunk on Kino Casino? All right. All right. Fucking insane. Fucking insane.
Whole lot of socks in YouTube chat today. Tons of them.
It's what you deserve, Phil. It's what you deserve.
Yeah, look how many of these freaking stupid dumb ass sock accounts.
He's got nothing.
Holy shit, I wasn't.
He's got nothing. He's resorted to finding sock accounts. Amazing.
Even paying attention, and I looked. I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot. That's a ridiculous amount of socks. A sock account is when someone makes a dummy account that's really not an account they're going to use. It's like a burner account because they've likely already gotten banned under another account, or they're just looking to harass. It's a disposable account meant solely for negative purposes.
Very informative, Phil. Holy shit. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Most people think the content is dry now. This is what y'all were dealing with in March. Holy shit. All right. Big ups to Raw, Phil. That's fucking amazing. That's amazing. Oh, shit. All right. So let's see. What are we doing? Let's do Gout Rushmore. Oh, my God. Let's do Gout Rushmore. Big ups to Chip. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So, final thoughts. He's a salty boy. He's a salty boy. That the Kino Casino stimulus package isn't there. That those people who fed him bullshit and basically dangled keys around, in front of him, making him feel special, really weren't genuine. He fell for the marketing scheme. He fell for the marketing scheme, to be honest. And I can understand how most people are like, oh, well, why is he so hesitant to deal with LolCow Live? Or, oh, he learned his lesson from Kino Casino, and that's why he's trying to dictate terms to LolCow. No, it isn't. He knows that the moment he steps on LolCow Live, he's branded. And he knows that Keem will always have that over him. And it's just a matter of how desperate, is he going to be to finally get up there. That's all it is. And then he's going to look absolutely fucking moronic that he was offered $50K and he ends up bringing his ass up there for free, to be honest. And he can't turn Wings of Redemption or Boogie against Keem, so he has no leverage. It is what it is. And here's the thing that Keem should do, but he won't because he's stupid. But if Keem was even remotely smart, right, or maybe Duty's over there still, he talks to Wings and whatnot, which is weird, but Duty has a habit of talking to LolCow, so that's what he is. If fucking Duty was self-aware and even the slightest, he would tell Keem, hey, you should go ahead and probe DSP on what happened during LolCow podcast. That whole thing with the gaming attorney and all that whole situation there, and find out what DSP actually knows. That would be entertaining, and it's not directly drama related because it's not something that most people even know of. I covered it, but most people don't really even know about that. So that would be an interesting thing to ask them and see how DSP decided to lie about that. The reason why I bring that up is because at least Wings, I don't know about Boogie. No, I don't think, Boogie really didn't divulge how much he knew and what he didn't. So, which means Boogie knows something. But Wings and Tommy C, who Tommy's back over there in the LolCow universe too, so that makes an even more interesting conversation. Oh shit. You know what they should do? They should actually do exactly what I'm saying and then bring Tommy C into that. Because remember, DSP was trying to fuck Tommy C as well with that whole nonsense, or at least Tommy thinks so. They should have Tommy C basically ambush DSP and ask him about that bullshit. About that whole LolCow live, the whole LolCow podcast, not live, the whole LolCow podcast situation. That would be fantastic. And then if Keem really want to be an asshole, then try to bring Duty into that call as well. And then see what comes out of that. Oh, that would be fantastic. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. That might actually be interesting. Because there's no way Duty would fuck up that alley-oop. There's no way he would fuck up that alley-oop. All right, well, let that be DLC. But at least bring Tommy C in there, because Tommy C won't fuck up that situation. He won't fuck up that situation at all. That would be a damn good look. That would be a damn good look. Yes, sir. All right, well, it is what it is on that. If someone ends up passing that along, they do. If they don't, they don't. But that would make a damn good look. Anywho, yet again, DSP's butthurt about losing the Kino Casino stimulus package. He said here that he admitted here that he planned it all out. He executed it knowing what the consequences were and was still mad, or he's still discouraged that he's dealing with the fallout, or he has any type of consequences he has to deal with. That says a lot. And in reality, which is even more amazing, the fact that he believes that other people should have to work as hard as he does to reap the rewards they have. is insane. Because if those of you who were around when Kino Casino first started, they damn near streamed every day. You know what I mean? They damn near streamed every day when they first started. Yeah, constant shows and shit. And they were trying to tackle everything until they finally found a median and shit. And more importantly, when they go on these vacations, stuff like that, it's something for them to further talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's content in itself at times, depending on what they're doing. So, whatever. You would think for someone like DSP who tried to monetize everything at one time or another, he would understand that and maybe even grow to appreciate it. But because DSP has conditioned his dents in a certain type of way, he can't do that. If DSP took 2 or 3 days off, he's fucked. He's legitimately fucked. And I know most of you are saying, well, wait, wouldn't the dents just overcompensate him in the second third? In some ways, you're yes, but in some ways you're missing the point. In that, DSP doesn't think about the money that he could lose, or he doesn't think so much about the money he could regain if he took extra days off. He looks at it as missed opportunities those days he were there. So let me rephrase that. Let's remix it. So let's say he misses 3 days, right? What is that? That is it's $900 over 3 days. Well, when he comes back that following day and he makes $1,000, right, on one stream or both streams for that next day or whatever, then it makes him go back and think, oh shit, I could have made $1,000 each one of those 3 days if I was here, or I could have. That's how his mind thinks, and that right there in itself is mental illness. That's not remotely what the situation was or could ever be, but that's what he thinks of it. You know what I'm saying? You're only as useful to him as your last contribution, if you will. And when he gets those big contributions, he's like, that's his measuring stick. So for Only Iced Coffee, for example, oh, you gave me $1,000, every stream last week or every early stream or whatever, he expects that the next week. And then the next week, and then the next week, and then eventually he expects it to gradually go up. And that's just not how it works. And that is the folly of being a dent, to be honest with you. But so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later. Oh my God. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. This is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh, yes. A GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, for SnortBucks Coffee Company, for Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, for Tim Snortons and Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic. I'm pretty sure I said that just twice. For all of our subsidiaries and affiliates, let's go with that. I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, people. And yet again, don't be a dent. Don't be a dent. Later, people.